Beyond the Gates full Thurdays January 29, 2026. The shocking developments at Fairmont Crest. Leslie's trap, Smitty's worries, and Kat's reckoning. As tensions reach a boiling point at Fairmont Crest, the latest developments in the ongoing saga are about to shake the very foundation of this already fractured world. In the Wednesday, January 28th episode of Beyond the Gates, viewers will witness shocking twists and turnarounds that will leave them breathless. From Leslie Thomas's calculated trap to Martin Richardson's mounting concern about Bradley Smitty Smith, and the escalating power struggle between Nicole Dupree and Catherine Cat Richardson. The stage is set for a season of drama like no other. Leslie's trap. Who is her target? Leslie Thomas has always been a master manipulator, playing the game with unmatched cunning, but her latest move promises to be a game changer. In this upcoming episode, Leslie is setting a trap for one of her enemies. While the preview does not reveal the identity of the target, it's clear that Leslie's web of deceit is about to ensnare someone close to her. Two names stand out as potential victims of Leslie's scheming: Shanice Johnson and Joey Armstrong. Leslie's recent tensions with Shanice have been escalating ever since Shanice started dating Ted Richardson. The relationship between Shanice and Ted has put Leslie in an increasingly vulnerable position, especially given her history with Ted and the influence she wields over the Richardson family. Shanice, whose loyalty lies with Ted, has become a thorn in Leslie's side. The idea that Leslie might see Shanice as a target in her latest game of betrayal and manipulation is entirely possible, as Leslie often views relationships as opportunities to exploit weaknesses. On the other hand, Joey Armstrong, who has been blackmailing Leslie for some time, could very well be the one who will fall into her trap. Joe's greed and desire for power have made him a dangerous adversary to Leslie, but he might not fully understand just how far she is willing to go to protect herself. If Joey thinks he can outsmart Leslie, he's about to learn a hard lesson. But what if the trap is not for Shanice or Joey at all? What if Leslie has someone else in her sights? The suspense continues to build, and viewers are left wondering who will be caught in Leslie's manipulative web. Will it be Shanice, Joey, or someone entirely unexpected? Only time will tell. Martin's worries, Smitty's safety, and his uncertainty. Meanwhile, Martin Richardson, ever the strategist, is feeling the weight of impending danger on his shoulders. His concern for Bradley Smitty Smith has grown, and it's clear that the man he once considered a trusted ally might now be in grave danger. Smitty has proven to be a loyal friend to Martin, but in this world of deception and danger, even loyalty can be tested. Smitty's involvement in the ongoing investigations, particularly those related to the underworld dealings surrounding Fairmont Crest, has put him directly in the line of fire. Martin knows that Smitty's unyielding commitment to uncovering the truth may eventually cost him more than he's willing to lose. As Martin observes Smitty's behavior, he realizes that his old friend is pushing further and further into dangerous territory. Every move Smitty makes seems to be one step closer to a confrontation that could ruin them both. The tension between Martin and Smitty is palpable, with Martin torn between his desire to protect his old friend and his fear that Smitty's stubbornness will be his undoing. The stakes have never been higher for these two men. and Martin finds himself questioning whether he can continue to stand by and watch as Smitty teeters on the edge of disaster. But even more so, Martin has to decide if he can trust Smitty completely or if the man he once considered a brother is becoming a liability. Nicole versus Kat, the final showdown. As if the personal and professional battles at Fairmont Crest weren't enough, a new conflict is brewing between Nicole Dupree and her stepdaughter, Catherine "Kat" Richardson. Nicole, ever the no-nonsense woman, has tolerated Kat's defiance for as long as she can. Kat's rebellious attitude, especially toward Nicole's authority, has finally pushed Nicole to her breaking point. It's clear that Kat is not afraid of Nicole, nor does she seem to respect her as an authority figure. And that is something Nicole will not stand for. In a highly anticipated moment in the upcoming episode, Nicole will take matters into her own hands, planning to teach Kat a lesson she will never forget. The lesson, however, won't come without consequences. Nicole's actions, while seemingly justified in her mind, will undoubtedly lead to a ripple effect that will alter the dynamics within the Richardson family for good. Nicole's controlling nature has always clashed with Kat's independent spirit, but now, it seems that Nicole is ready to push her stepdaughter to the brink. Kat, for her part, won't take this lesson lying down. The young woman has always prided herself on standing her ground, and her confrontation with Nicole will be explosive. As Nicole tries to assert her dominance, Kat will find herself cornered, forced to confront her feelings about her father's remarriage and the resentment she's carried toward Nicole for years. Will Kat finally submit to Nicole's demands, or will she fight back in a way that no one sees coming? The stakes are higher than ever. With each passing day, the stakes at Fairmont Crest are rising. Leslie Thomas's scheming, Martin Richardson's fear for Smitty's safety, and Nicole Dupree's impending clash with Kat are only the beginning. As the tension between these characters builds, it's clear that no one will emerge unscathed. Fairmont Crest, once a symbol of wealth and power, has become a battleground where loyalty is tested, relationships are shattered, and personal demons come to light. As each character grapples with their own internal struggles and external threats, it becomes evident that the price for survival in this world is higher than anyone could have imagined. Will Leslie's trap ensnare her enemies, or will they outwit her at her own game? Can Martin protect Smitty, or will his own fears lead to a tragic downfall? And will Kat finally find a way to break free from Nicole's oppressive control, or will she be forced to comply with her stepmother's demands? The answers to these questions will not only change the lives of those involved, but will also reshape the future of Fairmont Crest in ways no one could have predicted. With each shocking twist, the tension mounts, and viewers are left on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the next explosive episode. Shattered bonds at Fairmont Crest, Martin's worry for Smitty, Jacob's tension with Elon, and Vernon's downfall. The world of Fairmont Crest is known for its opulent facades, its beautiful homes, and its idyllic yet often deceptive exterior. Beneath the polished veneer lies a tangled web of secrets, betrayals, and fractured relationships that continue to shake the community to its core. As the latest developments unfold, the lives of the Richardson, Dupree, and Hawthorne families are about to take a darker turn. In this episode, We delve deep into Martin Richardson's growing concern for his husband Smitty, the turbulent relationship between Jacob Hawthorne and his father-in-law, and the explosive events leading to Vernon Dupree's disgrace. Meanwhile, Naomi Hawthorne's lies are starting to unravel, threatening to tear apart her marriage and the fragile equilibrium that her family has desperately tried to maintain. Martin's growing concern for Smitty. Martin Richardson has always been a man of composure, a calculated strategist who thrives in the high-stakes world of corporate intrigue and family dynamics. Yet, even he cannot mask the anxiety gnawing at him as he paces the house, waiting for news of his husband, Bradley Smitty Smith. Smitty's disappearance for the night is unlike him, and the cold fear creeping into Martin's chest is palpable. He tries to rationalize the situation. Smitty could be working late, caught up in some case or investigation, but the truth is, deep down, Martin knows something isn't right. Smitty has always been the more reckless of the two, willing to take risks to uncover the truth, often at the expense of his own safety. Lately, Smitty has been working with Jacob Hawthorne, investigating a series of mysterious activities in the underworld dealings surrounding Fairmont Crest. It's a dangerous game, and as much as Martin trusts Smitty's instincts, he cannot ignore the rising tide of worry within him. They have always been a team, balancing each other out, but lately, the weight of their shared life seems to be shifting in ways that Martin can't control. The question that gnaws at him is whether Smitty has been hiding things from him. Would he really tell Martin the full extent of the danger he's in? Would Smitty admit to his husband that he is putting himself at risk by digging deeper into the treacherous world of corruption and crime? Martin's mind races as he imagines the worst. Could Smitty be involved in something far darker than either of them realized? The thought of losing Smitty, him slipping into the shadows without Martin's knowledge, keeps Martin awake long into the night. Despite his growing dread, Martin cannot bring himself to call Smitty. He knows that if he does, he risks sounding desperate, and worse, he might force Smitty to lie or cover up even more than he already is. But the silence between them only heightens Martin's fear, and with every hour that passes without word, the tension continues to escalate. Jacob and Elon, the father-son conflict. At the same time that Martin is struggling with his own worries, Jacob Hawthorne finds himself entrenched in a bitter conflict with his father, Elon Hawthorne. Jacob has always been the rebellious son, determined to carve his own path, to prove that he's capable of standing on his own. But that drive often clashes with Ellen's old-fashioned, controlling nature, and the two have found themselves at odds more than once. Elon, with his ironclad grip on the Hawthorne legacy, is unrelenting in his expectations of Jacob. He sees his son's impulsiveness as a liability, particularly now that Jacob has been diving headfirst into the investigation with Smitty. Elon, who has his own entanglements and secrets to protect, sees this reckless pursuit of truth as a dangerous distraction, a threat to the family's stability and reputation. To Elon, family ties come with the understanding that loyalty to the Hawthorne name is paramount, and Jacob's defiance is an affront to that loyalty. The tensions between them reach a boiling point when Jacob confronts Elon about his meddling in the investigation. Jacob, frustrated by his father's dismissive attitude toward his work, challenges Elon in a way he never has before. This is no longer simple father-son spathis is a full-fledged battle for control, one that threatens to shatter their already fragile relationship. Ellen's response is cold, calculating. He warns Jacob that his actions could have dire consequences, not just for the Hawthorne family, but for Jacob himself. Ellen's threats are veiled in layers of subtle manipulation, designed to remind Jacob who holds the power in their family. Jacob, however, is no longer the young, obedient son he once was. He has seen too much, learned too many uncomfortable truths, and the weight of those revelations has hardened him. But as their confrontation escalates, Jacob begins to wonder whether he's truly ready to confront his father, if he's simply digging himself deeper into a hole from which he may never escape. Naomi's lies. A marriage at the brink. Meanwhile, in the Hawthorne household, Naomi Hawthorne continues to lie to her husband, Elon, about the results of her BRCA genetic test. Naomi, who has been keeping the truth from Elon for months, knows that the moment he learns of her genetic predisposition to breast cancer, their world will change forever. Elon, a man who values control and order above all else, will see Naomi's illness as yet another weakness zone that will compromise their future together. Naomi's decision to keep the results hidden is not just about fear of Alan's reaction, it's about the crushing burden of responsibility she feels. She has spent her life living under Alan's thumb, trying to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, and the perfect daughter-in-law. But now, with her health in jeopardy, Naomi realizes that the one thing she cannot control is her own fate. The fear of facing her diagnosis alone, without Alan's support, has driven her to lie. She believes that by keeping the truth from him, she is protecting him and protecting herself from the inevitable fallout. But lies have a way of catching up to people, and Naomi's carefully constructed facade is beginning to crumble. With each passing day, the pressure to confess weighs heavier on her shoulders. As her illness progresses and her physical condition worsens, Naomi knows that she cannot keep hiding the truth forever. The question is, when will the truth finally surface, and will it be too late to save her marriage? Vernon Dupree's fall from grace. In a shocking turn of events, Vernon Dupree is ousted from his home. The cause? A heated argument with his wife, Anita Dupree, that escalates to a level neither of them could have foreseen. Vernon, whose arrogance and entitlement have always been a source of friction between him and Anita, has pushed his wife too far. This time, Anita astonishes had enough of his selfishness, his manipulations, and his disregard for the family they've built together. The fight between Vernon and Anita reaches its breaking point when Vernon, in a moment of anger and pride, refuses to back down. He belittles Anita, calling her weak and incapable of understanding the pressure he faces as a businessman and family patriarch. In retaliation, Anita makes a decision that will forever change the dynamics of their marriage. She kicks Vernon out. For the first time, Vernon finds himself completely powerless, cast out of the home he thought he ruled with an iron fist. But this public humiliation is only the beginning of Vernon's downfall. With his pride shattered, Vernon begins to spiral. The wealth and power he once took for granted are slipping away, and he is left with nothing but his own bitter regret. As he grapples with his failure, Vernon begins to question everything he thought he knew about himself, his marriage, and the world he once dominated. The Dupree family, once a symbol of status and wealth, is now in turmoil. And as the secrets and lies continue to surface, it becomes clear that the fallout from these revelations will change everything forever. Conclusion: a community on the brink of collapse. Fairmont Crest, a seemingly tranquil community, is crumbling under the weight of its own secrets. Martin's worry for Smitty, Jacob's tension with Elon, Naomi's lies, and Vernon's fall from grace are all symptoms of a deeper crisis that threatens to consume everyone involved. As the truth comes to light, alliances will shift, relationships will fracture, and the very foundation of these families will be irrevocably altered. The residents of Fairmont Crest are running out of time to salvage what little is left of their once perfect lives. The choices they make in the coming days will determine not only their futures, but the fate of the entire community. As the storm continues to rage, one thing is clear: no one will leave unscathed.